Brought to you by DK Audio.
DK Audio presents Why Am I So Anxious? Written and read by Dr. Tracey Marks. Note: neither the publisher nor the author is engaged in rendering professional advice or services to the individual reader. The ideas, procedures, and suggestions contained in this book are not intended as a substitute for consulting with your physician. All matters regarding your health require medical supervision. Neither the author nor the publisher shall be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising from any information or suggestion in this book.
Acknowledgements. I chose electrical engineering as my college major mainly because I've always been more skilled at math than language arts. But a secret reason was that I wanted a major that required a minimal number of books to read and papers to write. I've never been a good reader, and I loathed writing assignments. I fell asleep during the SAT reading comprehension section. If you told me then that 30 years after making that decision, I would script online educational content and write a book, I would say you've mistaken me for someone else. My introduction to psychiatry changed my life trajectory and set me on a path that I could not have foreseen when I chose medicine as a career. I want to acknowledge a few key people and experiences that shaped me into the psychiatrist I am today. William H. Campbell, MD, a resident physician on my psychiatry rotation in medical school, opened my eyes to psychiatry as a fascinating science and gave me the courage to forego my plan to specialize in internal medicine. Josepha Chong, MD, was my medical school class sponsor and an extraordinary psychiatrist who made it possible for me to switch out of the internal medicine residency program to which I was assigned. The New York Presbyterian Hospital, Cornell Campus, Department of Psychiatry did the work of transforming me from an analytical engineer who had never heard of Sigmund Freud to a psychoanalytically informed, curious psychiatrist. Elizabeth Auchincloss, MD, was my residency training director. I greatly admired her for her intellect and leadership. Having her invest in my personal and professional development was a privilege. William Sobel, MD, was a supervising psychiatrist in my residency program who taught me by example to be unapologetically exceptional. Finally, my parents, Bernard and Thelma Irvin, continuously pushed me to do my best and use my brain to do great things. They paved the way for all the others who came after them to take the baton and lead me toward the finish line. I thank all of you for your roles in inspiring who I am today. I am forever grateful. I also thank my patients whose collective experiences form the basis of my love for psychiatry and my online community whose thirst for knowledge keeps me creative and current. Introduction. Sometimes anxiety is like the sea. It ebbs and flows, but it's always there. Other times it's like a chameleon. It can take many forms, some of which may not be obvious. We all experience anxiety at some level. What matters most is how it affects you and how you manage it. I wrote this book during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is an unprecedented time that has universally affected us. If you didn't struggle with distressing anxiety symptoms before, COVID might have introduced you to that experience. So for many people, the answer to the question, why am I so anxious, could be summed up in one word, COVID. But anxiety is so much more than the effect of a situational disaster. While disasters can make anxiety worse, anxiety is a part of the human experience. It will persist, independent of an infectious outbreak or other natural disaster. As such, I purposely left COVID out of my explanations of the origins of anxiety. Part of me had hoped that...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?